keeps me excited. I love my grandparents. So my grandparents were super instrumental in raising me. They were born respectively, in my granddad in Tennessee, my grandma in Mississippi in the 40s. My granddad was a sharecropper who both of them ended up going to college and getting master's degrees and being educators. And their story, they're like, when the whole election and all that happened, they were kind of like, well, we've been through a lot worse. And to like have that like perspective that I don't, I think that keeps me excited that there is, like Aaron said, work to be done, and there is not only work to be done, but the ability to solve those things. So that keeps me excited.
Yeah, so I think that I guess a lot of work in therapy has made me realize that I need to sleep at night, otherwise I go insane. So so that's definitely been something I've been managing really well lately, despite it being my last semester and I'm looking for a job and stressing all the time. But when I do lose sleep, I think of a few things. I think, firstly, so I was the first in my family to go to college, and when I was out of college, or actually while I was in undergrad in California, I worked in Oakland at a nonprofit originally that worked with at-risk youth that were also first-generation college students. And it was, like, I think for me, like, everything that I do, even though energy and some of the things I've worked in, like financial inclusion, none of that really relates to ever helping people get into college anymore. But I'm like worried all the time that the same people are going to keep going into institutions like Columbia that are not like me, that are first generation, that are maybe not part of families that traditionally haven't gone to college in the past. And that to me has always been like a super important issue that I want to be more involved with, that I'm not, unfortunately. And so all I can do is just, when I see people who are like me and understand them, is just hope that they succeed, even if they're my competitor. And yeah, I think that besides that, directly related to our company, Sungo, I think the other thing that really keeps us worried, all of us, is just people not having the basics to do what they need to do. I lived in Ghana a few years ago in West Africa, on the other side of the continent, and I was visiting all the time a small village in the Volta region, and there was a woman there whose mother had passed away years before because she was trying to deliver another child and was in a hospital that didn't have electricity, and because of the infrastructure and many issues, she ended up passing away while she was delivering her baby. So I didn't mention in our pitch, but initially what we are targeting are institutions such as hospitals and schools, but because they don't, they won't be a big profit driver, we're also trying to target small and medium businesses and micro businesses. And so we want to create something that will help people, inevitably, and it has to refinance itself, it has to make profit, but we definitely want to help people, and that's what we want to do. And we don't want to be people from the outside helping people in East Africa, of course. We want to involve as many local people as possible, but that's what we're doing. What excites me, I would say, is the people that I go to school with. I'm in a program called Development Practice. I see many of my colleagues in the audience. They're from Ecuador, from Uzbekistan, they're from India, they're from all over. And I think that those people, every single day when I see them, they make me super excited because they are super intelligent people, super capable, and they remind me to stop stressing out, to stop being so uptight, and to also have some fun and learn something about their own perspective and their culture that I really appreciate. So thank you guys.
So I'm going to just say one thing, and then we're going to have one final question to kind of wrap up for the day. You'll notice in the program that there's a concluding half hour. You'll be glad to know that that's in there for a variety of reasons as a buffer, and we're going to buff it out. I don't think we need the buffer. What we need is to hear one last thing from these folks, and that'll be the end of the day. So I've got one question for everybody. We'll start down here, work our way down to the end. And the question is, I want you to talk a little bit about yourselves and not your business per se. I know that all of you intend to pursue the ventures that you're working on right now, but you also have other plans for your lives, and I'd like you to say a little bit to the audience about where you go from here. After all, what we're here to talk about, and we've been talking about for the last 24 hours or so, is the future. You guys are the future. I want to hear a little bit about your futures. What is it you're going to be doing from here for the next couple of years or the rest of your life, or whatever it is? We'll start with you. Go down to the end, and then Emma, you can give us the closing benediction and send everybody out there to promote the greater good. So, Ryan, starting with you.
I'll try to keep mine short since my last answer was long, but the short answer is I don't know. I'm really hoping that I'll have a job in May. That's about it. I'm looking at a few different places. I mean, do you just want me to tell you what I'm sort of hoping to do in terms of jobs? Okay, yeah. Well, hopefully Sango will take off, and I'll be in East Africa this summer trying to make it work. Otherwise, yeah, I would love to work in the energy space after graduation, maybe for multilateral. I'm also looking into consulting, these kinds of jobs. So in life, yeah, I just hope that I can still have a life that will allow me to travel and be a person that works hard and gets, you know, I guess like respect and earns like whatever he needs from that, but also finds like the balance. I think like for me, living the balance is really tough. So just having more time to enjoy life.
I think for me, I'm definitely going back to Chicago at some point. There are a lot of things going on there that, with people that I care about, that I want to devote time to. Actually, I also, my family is from Mississippi, so we have like land down there that we've had for, I think since like the 1890s, that we've never done anything with. And so for me, kind of having now this kind of social entrepreneurial lens, I am really excited to be able to, I just see like a whiteboard where I can like do a lot of stuff. So that's something that I think would be really fulfilling for me and my family as well. And so that's kind of like the next 10 to 15 years in terms of a project. But other than that, I really just care about like helping people who were in my situation 8-10 years ago, that where like I didn't, there was nothing in my life, I would say up to this point, that suggested that I would be sitting here in front of you. And that is like both gratifying and scary, because there are so many brilliant young people that I personally have known over the course of my life that should be sitting here. And that stuff matters a lot to me.
All right. So for me, where I see myself in the next few years, actually in exactly 2 years, I have made up my mind that I'm actually moving back to the continent. And I've been in the States for the last 2 years, and I am sick and tired of mowing snow and walking in the cold. So I have made up my mind that whatever job that I get, whether it's Morayo or with any company, is going back. I think there is a lot of opportunity. As I travel around the continent, I see so much prospect, and I think that myself and the like of my colleagues, we're very primed to be able to solve those challenges and to be able to create that bridge between whether I'm in Ghana or in Liberia, and also with the United States. I think there's no denying that a piece of my heart, it will always be here, but I think my calling is to move back to the continent, and whether it's building infrastructure or is empowering people to create their own livelihoods and to be able to take things by the horn and just live an awesome life. So that is my goal.
This is a tough question. So I also graduate in May, like Ryan, and I think for Dash, we are looking to raise funds. We've applied to a few grants, and hopefully that works out. So I personally would like to continue working in the environment and technology sort of intersection between the two. So either Dash or any other sort of job which comes along. In terms of life, I would like to explore more. So I'm from India, and right now I don't plan to go back to India, but you never know. I want to explore outside, working with different sets of people and understanding different cultures. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Can I share a personal story with you all? It's very brief, but I have a lady friend in my life who's like a self-made millionaire, and she's from California, and she came and she stayed at the Plaza Hotel. She was visiting me in New York, and she welcomes me into this hotel, and I have this wonderful shower, and I'm in this fancy robe at the Plaza, and she had ordered ice cream, and she was playing Chopin, and there was like tea, and I was in like literally the lap of luxury at the height of worldly pleasures, right? And I was thinking to myself, wow, how could this get any better? Like I asked myself, literally like a Socratic dialogue, wow, how could this get any better? And I had this breakthrough. Oh, it would be so much more amazing if I knew that people weren't dying of malaria right now. That's literally what was going through my head. And you might think, wow, you're so weird that you thought that. But like, no, that was so reinforcing of my ideals of saying like, wow, Aaron, you're not going to be contented just like trying to achieve material wealth or success or fame or power or fortune. Like, you really do care about this, and it's so core. If this is like what you're thinking, like, that's what you really need to spend your life doing. And so I would like to cure malaria.
So just a quick background, I was actually working in the private sector, but I left that job to teach for 2 years, and I think that was life-changing for me. But one of the moments which always sticks to me is there was this one project which we did with my students. I taught 8th graders, 64 of them, and in which they had to use waste material to create monuments, like the big fancy Indian monuments. And the ones who did really well were the general students who were always termed losers, not good in math, not good in English. And that was life-changing, right? You think that you expect the top-performing students to always do well. And I'm like, these are my babies who've done so well. I create Taj Mahal out of waste, right? So I think that moment is what drives me even now. When I see myself working in the future anywhere in life, I would always think about working in Indian education system because that's, I'm a product of that. But I also have seen what other things, the major issues. But in terms of short term, I hope it all works out because I think that's a model which is very scalable to other developing countries as well, and we'd love to take it to India. But I'm open to opportunities right now. But yeah, more than very, very happy to go back to India because that's where the heart belongs.
I've never given a benediction, so I think I'm not going to start. Not going to start now. I didn't know I was going to have the last word, but. I guess the way to end these things always is with sort of thanks and optimism for the future. Thank you, Eric, for putting together such an incredible 2 days. Esther, for giving me the opportunity to even be here, for introducing us. To all of you up here for, one, participating in this and letting us learn more about what you're doing, but for what you're doing. And for giving us this sort of really uplifting moment of the day to sort of leave on. I think we heard lots today that gives us pause. Certainly food for thought maybe is the understatement. But also there's lots of good that can come from the world that we live in today, from our ability to use data and technology. And I'm just really excited to see where we go from here. So thank you.
This isn't the end of a conference. This is the start of a conversation. Let's keep it going. Thank all the students for being here. There is a good future to look forward to. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you at another Greater Good gathering sometime in the future. We'll look forward to it. Thank you.